I'm just saying we should have a legislative new union. Having a central power, government, and legislation would be good for Canada.
But then we lose regional identity. The Maritimes region has a certain identity it needs to preserve, and centralization would mix it in with all the other provinces.
Yes, and we should have state governments and do what we can to limit the central government. Because that went so well for the Americans in their Civil War. And have a country where power is determined by the size of your hat. What a great idea!
But seriously, a central power would strip each individual region of their identity.
You're overreacting. And besides, there's a lot better than having a civil war.
We're in a political deadlock already, and it's only been 2 days. Why can't we just compromise or something?
Nah, I'm just gonna keep bickering.
Alright guys, I'm bored of pointlessly arguing. We need some compromise. What do you say?
Just like, I don't know, create a federal system where each province would have its own legislature and powers is divided between the federal and political governments.
That's brilliant.
Is it political?
I'm so young and you're so old. This, my darling, I've been told. I don't care just what they say, 'cause forever I will pray. You and I will be as free as the birds up in the trees. Oh, please stay by me, Diana. I get when you hold me close. Oh, my darling, you're the most. I love you, but you love me. Oh, Diana, can't you see? I love you with all my heart, and I hope we will never part. Oh, please, by me, Diana. Oh, my darling, oh, my lover, tell me that there is no other. I love you with my heart.
And so, as you have all agreed, we will have a House of Commons of 194 members, determined by representation of population.
Wait, but that means while Ontario gets 89 members, us Edwardians only get 5 members. That simply is not fair.
Relax, we'll equal it out with the Senates. Then we'll have sectional equality.
Sectional equality? That isn't fair at all. We should have provincial representation where each province is able to protect its own rights and privileges. You can't just lump us all together.
Well, I mean, the majority of us accept sectional representation, so you're just gonna have to accept it.
The majority of us? That's barely it. In fact, most people here don't even like how the upper class, that is Senates, is made up.
I think we settled the issue of how upper house is going to be represented.
Us Edwardians will only accept sectional representation today, even though the thought of only getting 24 Senates between Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island angers me.
Ontario and Quebec get only 24 Senates each.